Hi, my name is Jayana Fair, and I did my project on the 2003 heat wave. First things first, what is a heat wave? People have many different definitions of what a heat wave is, but the basis is a heat wave is a rise in abnormal temperatures lasting at least 4 days, and in this case, it lasted 3 months. The 2003 heat wave occurred in Europe, and it started in June and went all the way till mid-August. Temperatures during this time were raised about 30%, and the main impacted was France. This is a map of Europe. I decided to highlight the main places that were impacted by this heat wave, including France. There was Germany, the United Kingdom, Italy, Holland, which is in the Netherlands, Portugal, Czech Republic, and Spain. You may be wondering, why did this heat wave occur? Well, according to Britannia, this was caused by an anticyclone in Western Europe that prevented precipitation, which led to record high temperatures. It is said that the anticyclone stopped the rain-bearing depression that enters Europe from the Atlantic Ocean. This caused very hot and dry air to be passed from the south of the Mediterranean. Well, now we know that an anticyclone causes heat wave, but we should also understand what it is. An anticyclone has high pressure in the atmosphere that usually causes calm weather. An example of this would be high temperatures in summer and skies with no clouds. An anticyclone moves clockwise. There is high pressure that moves air apart and sinks it. According to W.R. Bucklear, people, in summertime, anticyclones cores warm up. If they stay motionless over a country, is likely to cause a heat wave. In comparison, a cyclone has lower pressure, the air rises up and spins counterclockwise. This is associated with cloudy, windy, and stormy weather. And we can see that the anticyclone has the sun in the sky, while the cyclone is more cloudy. Here's a fact. Most deaths caused by weather is due to heat. And in the U.S., there is an average of 702 deaths by heat. And this is according to the CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control. Heat waves not only impact us environmentally, but socially and economically. In the next few slides, I will go more into depth about each one. Heat waves impact us environmentally. They can cause droughts and water shortages, stress on plants, in turn infecting the food chain, drying out land and increasing forest fires, and more CO2 being released in the atmosphere. According to Future Earth, the 2003 heat wave caused tree damages, increased leaf fall, and carbon sinks that turned into carbon sources. There was an increase in CO2 being released in the atmosphere instead of being absorbed, and this is a major problem. So, you may be wondering what CO2 is. Well, CO2 is carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas which absorbs heat. Without it, the Earth's temperature cannot stay above freezing. But if there is too much CO2 being released in the atmosphere, global temperatures will rise. Currently, a lot of CO2 being released is man-made. This is due to the burning of fossil fuels and transportation, just to name a few. This is not good. The longer we continue to do these things, the more temperatures of Earth will rise, which causes more harm than good. Yes, it is good to have transportation and heat, but we need to find a better solution so our temperatures of Earth won't rise, because what good is it to have these things if we have no Earth to have them in? Another way heat impacts us is socially. Wealthier people have a higher chance of survival when heat waves occur. This is because they have better access to cooler environments and water. In turn, poor neighborhoods house more than 800 million people and have higher risk of heat-related issues due to poor building designs and locations. It is also said that heat waves have an increase in violence. I know when I am hot, I get annoyed and bothered fairly easily, so I can see how people would feel if they do not have access to what they need and are forced to being in uncomfortable situations. I also can infer that because there is a higher amount of people in poor/urban neighborhoods, the heat would more likely be increased because there are many more people in those type of environments. This image shows the impact heat can have on health, and you can pause to read this if you would like, but one thing I found interesting is if you're having a heat stroke, you should not drink water, but if you're having heat exhaustion, you should drink water. Lastly is economics. Some people make a living off of working in the outdoors, so when heat waves occur, it is harder for them to do their work due to high temperatures and high health risks. When people have a harder time doing their work in fields, it results in smaller harvests. Because of this, there is an increase in prices, and some people are not able to afford it, so more people face food insecurity, which means not being able to access affordable, nutritious foods. This graph shows the impacts of agriculture resulting from the 2003 heat wave. When we look closely, we can see that fodder, which is things like hay to feed animals, have the highest amount of decrease. So this shows that heat waves not only impact us, but it impacts the animals. We can also see that financially, there's millions and millions of dollars lost due to the heat wave. So not only heat wave impact humans, but animals. The decrease in hay and things leave farmers and people to figure out what are they going to feed their animals. Here's another quick fact. The 2003 heat wave is known to be one of the hottest heat wave breaking world records, and this was the hottest temperatures have gotten in over 500 years. So 20 to 30% of temperatures were raised during this heat wave, and 35 to 40 degrees Celsius were the max temperatures recorded during the 2003 heat wave. So in our temperature Fahrenheit, it was 95 to 104 degrees. And also, 10% of alpine glaciers shrank, thawing mountains, and this increased rock slides. This map shows the increase in temperature compared to the average. If we look closely at the key, we can see majority of the temps were around 2 to 3 degrees higher than average temperature. And this is in Celsius, so in Fahrenheit it would be 35 to 37 degrees higher. If we take the highest temperature recorded, which is 104, and subtract 37 degrees, we could see that the average temperature is about 67 degrees Fahrenheit. In total, about 20,000 people passed away during the 2003 About 15,000 deaths caused by the 2003 heat wave were in France alone. And this chart alone shows different cities in France and the number of deaths that occurred. And we can also see that in this graph, they had many days, some cities with more than 10 days of temperatures higher than 95 degrees. So this just shows what they were facing with. And I know I couldn't be in that type of heat without any air conditioning or anything. So it's really sad to see what they had to go through. Here's my citations, and overall, it is truly sad what happened in 2003 in Europe. But it lets us know we have a role to play. We have to find ways that lower our carbon footprint. We could do this like taking public transportation, finding renewable heating, or even taking the stairs. All that to say, if everyone takes part in doing the little things, they can add up. We love our earth, so let's do our part to take care of it. And thank you for watching my presentation.